So I asked on Instagram last night whether or not you would be interested in me doing a video all about my favourite podcasts, thinking you would think it was really boring, and I had so many messages from you all saying no, please do it, I would love to hear. So I'm doing it because I'm giving the people what the people want. But I don't listen to a very varied amount of podcasts, and that was part of why I wanted to do this video, because I wanted you to give me recommendations for podcasts that you really enjoy as well. So I will preface this by saying that I listen to it on Google Podcasts. That's my preferred area. If you listen to it on iTunes and stuff, if you've got an Apple phone, then that would work well. I find on Samsung it's a little bit hit and miss as to where you can listen to it without it cutting out and it just being weird. Google Podcasts, which if you download the app, like that, is the best place I've found personally. So let me jump right into the ones that I listen to the most often. There aren't tons, but like I said, I'll tell you a bit about each one. So Outspoken Beauty. Outspoken Beauty is a beauty podcast. I listen to a lot of beauty podcasts, as you know, I like beauty, if you haven't noticed. I definitely really like listening to ones where they kind of chat to different guests and bring different experts in. So Outspoken Beauty has two main hosts that are really funny, and then they'll kind of pick a topic each week and they have different guests on it. So for example, like they'll have people like Sarah Chapman, Trini, Emma Guns, Pixie Woo, Caroline Hirons, Lisa Potter Dixon, that kind of thing, and they will just sort of pick a topic. So you've got things like brows, wellness, aging. Caroline Hirons does one about vaginas, which if you haven't listened to that one, you need to listen because it's absolutely hilarious. And then they just do like recommendations at the end, chat to the interviewee about the topic that they've chosen, and it's really interesting and they're just really fun. And it's quite kind of upbeat, sounds kind of like you're listening to a radio show, but in a nice way. Then next we have the Emma Guns show. Now I don't know if you would count, I guess it is a beauty podcast, but it's a lot deeper than that. So Emma Guns is a journalist. I'm just reading like a little bit to just kind of tell you more about them. But I want to say her full name's Emma Gunn Warden. If you don't follow her on Instagram, you should. Her Insta stories are very funny and she's very pretty as well. But I love this podcast. This is one of my absolute favourites because it's so in depth and it's kind of spiritual and kind of inspiring, but and I don't mean this in a horrible way, but in a really non-poncy way. So if you're somebody that gets a bit like, you know, hashtag vom about hashtag blessed, you like this because it's just a kind of digestible, easy to listen to podcast about all sorts of different things. And she does a thing in it where she does like 26 habits, which is like all about changing habits that you have, which is really interesting, and she has guests on it each week. So it'll be people like Nadine Baggett, who I love. She's had Caroline Hirons on there. She'll have people like Paula Begorn, Lindsay Kelk, who I really like, loads of different guests. And even if you don't know who the guest is, like I've listened to ones where it's people that I don't know, and you just gain a lot of insight from it. And she does it in a way where it doesn't come across as preachy or telling you kind of like, you know, what you should be doing with your life. It's really good. I really recommend that one. It's great. Then I also listen to the At Home With podcast, which is Lily Pebbles and Anna, I want to say it's Anna Newton, I think, podcast, where they interview again different guests, and it's kind of about their houses and about their careers. Really fun, easy to listen to, and if you like interiors, it's quite interesting as well. Then what else do we have? Full Coverage. Full Coverage is the podcast which is Lindsay Kelk, who is a writer, what is wrong with me? An author of the, what are they called, like I Heart New York, I Heart Paris, those kind of books, and she's just got a new book recently, hasn't she? I'm actually rereading I Heart New York at the moment because I haven't read any of her books for ages and ages. I don't know why, I just forgot, and that was the first one that I read, and I did really enjoy it as kind of more of like an easy read to my usual kind of depressing thrillery kind of books. But she does a beauty podcast with fellow YouTube makeup artist Harriet Hadfield, which has a great channel if you haven't checked it out. They both live in LA, which is really fun, and they just do such interesting topics. They'll pick kind of a topic, they'll talk you through all the new launches that week. They will also talk to you about things like what their highlight of the week was, what their disappointment of the week was in terms of products, and it's so funny. They're really funny, and it's just like a really nice girls chat. It's really good fun, and I would recommend you join their Facebook group as well, because that's really fun too. I love that group. Then we have Crash Test Mummy, which is Miss Budget Beauty, so Michaela, who actually is a YouTube friend of mine, who I haven't seen for a very long time, which is not good, and we should rectify that. But she just chats about all sorts of like life things. It's just a really chatty kind of interesting podcast. So she'll chat about things like, sorry, my phone just won't play ball with me, it keeps coming up with weird things. Things like the curse of the girl boss, mum guilt, can we ever be objective, is body positivity a negative, all sorts of things like that. And it's just her chatting, and I think she's just got a really nice kind of personality, and I enjoy listening to her perspective on things. Then another one I love is It Just Me, which I think used to be called Hey It's Okay, didn't it? It's basically Jo Elvin from Glamour magazine, who, don't even get me started on how broken my heart is over the fact that Glamour magazine is no more, because it was my favourite, and I thought she was just the most amazing editor ever, and I really think she's awesome. But they interview different celebrities. It's her, and I can't think what the guy who does it, James Williams, and they have a celebrity guest each week, and it's just really interesting. So they have people on it like Tamara Eccleston, Paloma Faith, Lorraine Kelly, Piers Morgan. The Piers Morgan one was actually surprisingly quite interesting. He wasn't annoying in it. Tanya Burr, Luke Evans, Trini. It's really interesting, and it's funny as well, and quite upbeat. And then they do this thing at the end where they say, is it just me? And then like say something that annoys you, or that you have thought you have, and it's just really like, it's really funny, and just kind of insightful, but easy to digest at the same time. Now, you're probably thinking, you love all those Mystery Monday crime videos, why don't you listen to podcasts about it? I do try to, but I really struggle to find ones that don't annoy me. I don't like when they have all creepy voices and it's like really intense, and I don't know, I struggle. I know a lot of people really like Serial. I tried that and I struggled. But one that I do really enjoy, oh, they've got a new episode I haven't listened to yet. I know what I'll be doing tomorrow. This one is, sorry, I didn't even say what it was, what am I on about? Mile Higher podcast, which is by, it's Kendall Ray and her husband. I want to say his name's, is it Jordan? Josh. I made up his name. They do it like they do crime cases, but then they also do all sorts of like things like time travel and conspiracy theories and all sorts of things like that. I love her. I love their kind of dynamic. I know people complain a bit about that sometimes they get their facts wrong and stuff, but it's usually facts. So like when they're saying, I know that it's wrong anyway, so like I know what they actually meant, so it's fine. But I really enjoy it, and they're quite long and quite kind of chatty, and they go into depth into different things. So there's one on here about the staircase, which I'm watching at the moment, so that's great timing. Really looking forward to listening to that. But those are all the ones I'm listening to at the moment, I think, aren't I? Yes. So, oh, Fat Mascara, I used to listen to that. I haven't listened to that for ages. Maybe I need to. I tend to not like the American ones so much in terms of beauty for some reason. Don't know why. It's also because like the products, we can't get them and stuff like that. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Give me all your recommendations down below. Lifestyle, beauty, crime, anything. Even if it's just like funny stuff. I know a lot of people like My Dad Wrote a Porno. I do like that. But, it bores me after a while. Like, you're not learning anything from it, it's just funny. But yeah, I definitely want your recommendations down below, so hit me up with those and I will see you soon. Bye.